Previously on Haunted Love, Shadow of Love, Rehan, Aliya, and Hassan ventured into an abandoned haveli, untouched for decades. Within its crumbling walls, they disturbed a force older and darker than memory itself. Whispers of betrayal, echoes of pain, and shadows of the past stirred once again. They sought truth, but what they found was something that had been waiting for them all along. Now, the true nightmare begins. The curse was never broken. It was only hiding, waiting for new blood to awaken it. Rehan, Aliya, and Hassan must now face a deeper evil one that thrives on betrayal and despair. Welcome to episode 2 of Haunted Love, Shadow of Love, the Whisper of Betrayal. Step carefully, because some doors, once opened, can never be closed. The haveli trembled with an unseen rage, its walls groaning, as if mourning the arrival of new victims. Rehan, Aliya, and Hassan were trapped within the decaying grandeur, face to face with a spirit consumed by betrayal and eternal longing. Rehan clenched his fists, fighting the invisible weight pressing down on him. "We need to get out of here," he growled through gritted teeth. The bride in red stood still in the center of the ballroom, her hollow eyes locked onto them. The smile that once curled her lips had faded, replaced by an abyss of grief. Without warning, the ground beneath their feet cracked open slightly, and a chilling, whispering wind surged through the hall. "Find the truth, or be mine forever." The spirit hissed before vanishing into the mist that rolled over the broken marble floor. Breathless, the trio stumbled into a side corridor. Each wall they passed seemed to bleed history, the portraits melting into grotesque versions of themselves under the flickering lights. "We need answers," Hassan gasped. "This isn't just any ghost. This is something cursed, something ancient." Aliya nodded, wiping away the sweat from her forehead. "We have to understand her story." They moved toward the libraria room, whispered about in the town's old tales. The villagers spoke of forbidden knowledge hidden among its ruined shelves. Pushing open the heavy door, they found themselves surrounded by towering bookcases, sagging under the weight of dusty tomes. In the center, a rotting wooden desk held an enormous ledger bound in blackened leather. Rehan approached it cautiously, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. He opened it, and what he read sent chills crawling down his spine. The ledger was a record of the haveli's cursed history. It spoke of Mare, a beautiful young woman born into a noble family. She had been promised to a powerful lord, a union meant to strengthen alliances, but Mare had fallen in love with a humble servant, a reefer forbidden love that would never be accepted. On the night of her wedding, as she prepared to be wed against her will, Mare made a desperate plan with Arif to flee under the cover of darkness. But betrayal runs deep. Someone close to them had revealed their plan. As Mare tried to escape, she was caught. Her own family, enraged at the dishonor, decided she would not live to shame them. In the grand ballroom where now the trio had seen her ghost, she was strangled with her own bridal veil, her cries muffled by the very hands that once promised her love. Her body was hidden, her story erased from the haveli's official history, but her soul never rested. Aliya's hands trembled as she read over Rehan's shoulder. This is why she's trapped here, betrayed by love, murdered by blood. The chandelier above them rattled violently. The room seemed to spin, and whispers filled the air. "You know now. You know. Now you can see." Suddenly, a hidden door behind one of the bookcases creaked open. A narrow staircase wound down into darkness. Without hesitation, Rehan grabbed a candle from the desk and led the way. Step after step, they descended into the haveli's buried heart. The basement was unlike anything they had seen. Old cages, rusty chains, bones, long forgotten all, scattered across the cold stone floor. "This place, it's a dungeon," Hassan whispered in horror. At the far end of the chamber, they found a crumbling altar, stained dark with ancient blood. Above the altar, The walls bore markings, strange symbols, protective spells, and a single name carved deep into the stone. Meher. Aliya traced the name with her fingertips. They tried to trap her soul here, to punish her even after death. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, their breaths became mist, and there, standing by the altar, was Meher. Her veil had slipped, revealing a face marred by sorrow and rage. "You know now," she whispered, tears of darkness streaming down her cheeks. But knowledge demands a price. She raised her arms and the dungeon roared to life. Chains flew through the air. Shadows erupted from every corner. Rehan grabbed Aliya and Hassan. "Run!" he shouted, his voice echoing off the cold walls. They sprinted up the stairs, the very stones behind them crumbling away under Meher's fury. Bursting back into the library, they slammed the hidden door shut behind them. Breathless and terrified, they realized they could not leave the haveli unless they set Meher's soul free. But how? The haveli was a labyrinth of hate and sorrow, and they were trapped within it. As they stood panting in the dusty gloom, a soft voice spoke from the shadows. "There is one who still remembers. The key lies with the one who betrayed." And then, silence. The weight of the revelation crashed upon them. To free Meher, they had to uncover the traitor, someone whose betrayal had condemned her to this endless night. But time was running out, and the haveli hungered for their souls. To be continued in episode 3. The shadows have begun their hunt. The haveli's secrets are alive and hungry. Rehan, Aliya, and Hassan are trapped in a web spun long before they were even born, and the only way out may cost them their souls. Stay tuned for episode 3 of Haunted Love, Shadow of Love. The deeper they dig, the darker it becomes. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the world of haunted love, the past is never truly buried.